Hello everyone, Dmitry here. So today we'd like to start talking about a few outstanding architectural solutions that we have in our building platform that is actually powering all of our unlimited customization capabilities that is in their turn are enablers of these huge efficiency gains that our system provides to the domains. How we do this and why? Because of the few architectural decisions that we've made, that is actually the biggest enablers of what you can build in our building platform. It's actually entity-centric architecture, what we call dynamic profiles, state machine builder, and very sophisticated servicing core. Because of these few architectural solutions, that's not all the extensive list of all of our great decisions, but it's just a few I want to start with. So because of them, our solution is very customizable, and actually it can cover and it can implement specific automations that's required by a specific bank in a very detailed form, in a very deep form. It's not the benefit of its own, an ability to be extremely customized, but actually it's a bridge, it's an enabler for creating more bespoke processes working specifically for your financial institution. And at the end, this is an enabler that is allowing to actually implement the process that is working for you and implement all of the potential corner cases that you may have. So I would say that most of the solutions existing on the market, they're great and they can provide you simplicity and sometimes speed. But actually, when you talk about which process they can cover, how they do this, of course, they are limited by their architectures and by their built-in architectures, and to stay limited on which process you can build over there. Usually it works good. So you're able to cover like 80% of your processes. That's fine. But the problem is that the secret sauce of your business and the bread and butter that you have usually lies in this remaining 20%. And eventually this 20%, this is something that eats 80% of your full-time employees' time for handling these corner cases. So our solution is created specifically with this idea in mind that this 20% also should be automated and should be handled. And that's exactly what these enablers that you see right now on the screen providing as the potential business improvement opportunities to our clients. At the end, it gives an ability to automate not 80% of your business, not 80% of the vanilla flows, but 100% of all of the flows, including 20% of these niche corner cases. And this eventually drives the full-time employee efficiency to 100% X, just because way less time they have to focus on covering these edge cases. And just perhaps 1 out of 100 applications getting stuck on the manual review. And that's what drives these enormous efficiency gains. So today I want to start talking from first of these architectural solutions that is entity-centric architecture of our building platform. So what does it mean? Also, our AI can help us to handle this in a little bit better format. I think everyone is familiar with our AI. So our AI is allowing our clients to build on our building platform very fast, very cheaply, and just having a conversation in the plain English with our agent that's actually taking all of the building blocks and customizing them for the specific needs. Also before helping you to crystallize all of these needs into the final polished requirements. So here we could see that we provided requirements to our agent if we wanted to have blending automation that is involved borrower as its main borrower, like the main subject of someone who would like to get funded. And we also need to have collateral assessment process related to this specific borrower. So the object of the process. And you can see that system decompose them, and system also provides two different flows. So one flow is the main flow that borrower is moving through, and then we have a collateral side flow. It's not mandatory, so obviously some of the products may be available without the collateral, and some of them, of course, will not be available without the collateral. This is something that you will be able to customize later on in the admin panel. The building platform itself, and then the framework level, we just have to set up these entities. So you can see that here in these requirements, we have two different entities that we call entities. This is actually borrower, and this is the collateral. In a more abstract form, everyone who is a person or the company, like the subject you work with, borrower, consignee, business related to this business, UBOs, everyone, this is first type of our entities that is actually participants. And then we have second type of such an entities. This is objects. And mostly, like commonly, this is collateral or different types of assets. It can be used as the subflow, like the second flow that can be run in parallel with the main flow of the borrower. Or sometimes these objects and subjects are subject of the main flow, where we talk about the asset-based lending. So actually when you as a business don't care much about the credit assessment of this specific main borrower, like main participant, like borrower or consignee, whatever, and you do care about the collateral itself because you're gonna lend against. So asset-based, MCA, such cases. Both of the cases are possible in our system, and I would like to explain why and what the usual limitators and how we fix them in our system. The very generic approach is having the either application-centric system or loan-centric system. But actually, if we will think about the real-world mechanics, like how it's done in the real physical world, underwriting departments do not underwrite the specific application. The underwriting models do not underwrite and do not calculate any kinds of 15 parameters and also the potential financial parameters, and etc. to the specific application. They are doing all of this and they are applying all of this to the specific person or business, to specific participant, to specific subject. That is, in our case, can be easily implemented with this entity-centric architecture. So our main actors of the flows, and I think we can also see this easily on one of our demo stands. Let me find someone like client Alex Smith and find some application related to him. Okay, so we have the deal and we have the borrower right there. We'll open up the history so we can see that. So we can see the transition between the statuses of this specific participant. So our main flows are usually built around the participant, the borrower, or any other type of participant. You can customize them. Actually, it provides this ability to implement the physical world processes without any kind of trying to fit your business process and your operations into either application-centric or loan-centric architectures. So you don't need to fit all of this with some kind of limiting abstraction. Actually, you can just go and implement exactly the process that you have. The underwriting department underwrite the specific borrower, specific person. You can easily do this. You build the flow, and the main flow is usually built around one core entity, depending once again on your type of lending business. In this case, you would see that we have the borrower, and the borrower is transitioning throughout the statuses. We have an ability to provide some documents, sign some applications, and transitioning from one status to another. Getting enriched with some data, also gain enriched with some potential manual decisions if they're required, formalizing his profile, executing some workflows so this profile can be filled using different data sources like Experian to run this underwriting algorithms and formalize the profile, and so on and so forth. We will talk about the dynamic profile, and we will talk about the building of the process itself on the next videos. But for this video, I wanted just to point out that application in our case, or loan in our case, it's actually the containers. So you don't need to fit all this information, all the forms, all of the business processes, all of your business ideas around these non-natural abstractions. You can actually go and your business decision department can actually just provide the information that they're doing around the participant, which procedures they applying to the borrower, which procedures they may apply to collateral. And because of the entity-centric architecture, you're able to implement the required entities and then just build the process around them. I also want to show you a couple of instances of, let's say, how it may look like when we have the collateral. Okay, here we have the collateral product. Once again, we have the deal details on top. And here we have borrower and collateral. And you can see the data models of borrower and collateral obviously different. So this is also something you can easily do. Either collateral or borrower are not just the fields under your application. That is actually may sounds legit until it's not, because if it's going to be just some fields in the application, it's going to be really difficult to run the reassessment process from the specific step. So let's assume you have an application and it went until the pre-approval, and then borrower finds out that it's not enough potential funds available on this specific stage. So you have to add collateral. Maybe you wanted to add collateral on the next step. So it doesn't make this process really straightforward and simple. You're either forced to be applying from the very beginning with the collateral, or you have to create another application. So it's getting messy. When you have two parallel entities that is just being assembled under one application container, because of the sophisticated state machine that we can have that is operating under conditions, you can allow edit collateral on the various of different steps. It will not impact the flow of the borrower directly. So actually, two different departments of the working with the collateral and working with borrower can work in parallel and get to the final point, like let's say offer generations and condition signing and so on and so forth. So yeah, getting back to the data model, because of the nature of our system, you're able to create such as different entities, like our AI did right there on this example. So we have borrower, we have collateral. Our AI also explained which flows they will be getting through. It also explained different types of the documents, like one document instead of the documents for the borrower, the second one for collateral. And actually it went and implemented all of this. So data models can be totally different. Document sets can be also different. Obviously, you don't need the same set of the documents to be provided for totally two different entities. Flows can be different. This is, I think, really important because you can see here the flow is really short, because maybe you don't need such a sophisticated flow with so much steps applied to collateral as you need applied to the borrower. Yeah, you can manage two different flows, obviously, with different number of the steps. They can have two different types of the workflows being executed for them. So one type of the workflow, like that we have this nice workflow being done in our modular, can be applied for borrower, let's say, and totally different underwriting algorithm obviously can be applied to the collateral. And they obviously may also have different profiles. So what is profile? Profile, this is actually the dynamic part of the borrower or entity data model. I'm going to talk once again about this on the next video. But just briefly teasing this, you have the basic data model that we receive from the application, from, let's say, core banking solutions. So something where you need this trust layer and not having an ability to accidentally disrupt this, because some other integrations may be using and maybe connected to this trust layer of data model. So these data parameters you have from the details, yeah, it can be very extensive right there. And then you can also have the dynamic profile part. That is actually the part that is being filled and complete by the workflow engine. So when you build your workflow, you can decide which specific parameters later on you want to save to the profile. There is no limited amount of how much you can save. You can save 5, 10, 25 parameters, whatever. And this is the dynamic part, because workflow is also connected to different data sources. Like here we've seen on the features for this specific borrower, for the simple case, we used the application data source and Experian data source for the soft underwriting. So it uses any kind of connected to the system, and of course you can connect them any custom ones data sources. So you decide on which custom data sources you need. It fits the workflow. You also can implement your custom data model. Your custom decision algorithm, and it's create your custom profile for the specific type of entity. And then eventually these profile parameters can be used later on the product sites and the offers, while calculating specific terms and conditions as the variables inside your pricing engine. So actually you have a very flexible system where, because of these entity structures and these profiles and the workflows, you can actually have products where you can decide what's the requirements to this specific product in terms of the participation and entity structure, right? So some of the products may require collateral and some of them may not require collateral. So you can set it up on the product side. And of course, the availability of this product will be totally dependent on the current structure of the participants right there. Like here we have collateral product, it has been selected and it has been available for the selection. If we will find some application without the collateral, like let's say right there, no collateral. Okay, we don't have these collateral products here. 1 second, let me find something. Okay, here collateral, we see it's on the borrower, and none of these collateralized products has been even available for this specific deal because not enough participation has been added. So not only the availability of the different types of the products are managed by this, but also actually when the product itself is available, the specific amount in terms of minimum and maximum amount is being calculated by the pricing engine that is using these parameters of either borrower and borrower plus the collateral inside the pricing engine. So it provides our clients an ability to do all of these on the very bespoke manner. I also want to get back to this specific chart to explore the potential benefits of having such entity-centric business processes. First of all, you're able to manage all of these entities from one centralized directory. Like in this case, we have clients, and we can see all of the applications. Okay, not much applications for this client. Let's say here, all of the application this client is participating in the different roles. So we can see if this is guarantor or he is, let's say, borrower itself or he collateral provider. So the same applicable to the collaterals itself. So it makes the management of the potential exposure on the portfolio of the same borrowers or the same collaterals really easy. You can easily track that you have one specific client acting as a borrower in 1 to 3 applications and also trying to act as the guarantor in the other applications. So since the system possesses all of this information, you can easily incorporate this data into your underwriting algorithms, and actually you can implement this into your calculations and make sure that none of the data is missed and some of the applications are not over leveraged. The same is applicable to the collateral itself. We do have some clients, we do have some cases where collaterals are the centric piece of the applications. And in this case, you can imagine that it's relatively very simple to just by having a collateral as a centric piece, and it's the main actor, to actually have a directory of the collaterals, and from this directory to manage in which specific applications or loans this collateral is pledged. And this we can also manage the LTV and DTI ratios relevant to this specific asset. So summarizing what we just seen, our solution with this entity-centric architecture allows you to build a process around them. And if some of the clients or different types of assets need to be the centric piece of your process, it can easily be done. All of the process will be built around them. Application is just a container in this case. It can be other type of containers, like we have clients who doesn't have the classical application as the start of their process. They use our campaign engine. So actually it's the specific campaigns that you can select the clients that you have already in the CRM or core system or any kind of integrations, and actually select them and then do the proactive offers to them. So it also can be different. So it can also be the type of the container you may have. But yeah, you can have entity-centric processes around your borrowers, around your assets, and also it makes it more easy to use the same entities in other applications, cross-check them, validate them against the LTV, DTIs, and different coverage ratios. It also makes the management of this payment easier. So if you see that one of the borrowers is in potential past due zone for one of his specific loans, system can also automatically mark the applications where this person acts as the guarantor or collateral provider as the applications or loans that may be in a potential dangerous zone. So thank you very much. It was our first video exploring our architectural advantages. And next time we're going to talk about, in the details, we're going to talk about these profiles, how they're being filled, how the underwriting algorithms or different types of the algorithms are able to be connected to them, how they can formalize these profiles with data sources you can use, and how it's later on used inside the pricing engine. And it basically documents pricing engine, covenants, whatever. This is just the dynamic profiles. You fetch this data and then you can use it later on everywhere in the system where you need this. Thank you very much and hope to see you soon. Bye.